The ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine has entered a new phase as Russia continues its military operations in the Kharkiv region. On November 21, 2025, the Russian Ministry of Defense released a series of images captured by a Russian drone over the Ukrainian city of Kupyansk. These images provide a rare glimpse into the military dynamics unfolding in the region, as Russia claims continued success in its operations against Ukrainian forces. The footage, accompanied by an official statement, paints a picture of intensified conflict, with explosions and military movements taking center stage. The released drone footage offers an aerial view of Kupyansk, a strategically important town in the Kharkiv region. The images show uniformed Russian soldiers waving flags, seemingly indicating the presence of Russian forces in the area. In a wide shot, the soldiers can be seen near a series of buildings, with the Russian flag prominently displayed. This footage is being released amid heightened tensions, as both sides continue to fight for control of key territories in the region. The situation in Kupyansk is critical, and Russian forces have made significant advancements in the area, the Russian Ministry of Defense states in its accompanying release. According to the ministry, the images were taken during an operation targeting Ukrainian armed forces units in and around the towns of Petropavlivka, Yampil, Novoselivka, and Stavki. These towns, located in the vicinity of Kupyansk, have reportedly been struck during the ongoing military operations, although further details about the specific targets and outcomes of these strikes remain sparse. The drone footage itself is marked by several key visuals. The first scene shows a wide shot of soldiers waving the Russian flag near a set of buildings, signaling the apparent presence of Russian forces in the area. The camera then cuts to aerial views of the surrounding terrain, showing streets and structures below, with soldiers moving through the streets. The footage also highlights explosions in the distance, visible from the drone's vantage point. These explosions, occurring at regular intervals, are indicative of the ongoing conflict and suggest that heavy shelling or airstrikes may have been part of the operation. Over the course of the footage, explosions are shown multiple times, each occurring in the same general vicinity, further emphasizing the active military engagement in the area. The Russian Ministry of Defense claims that these explosions were the result of Russian military actions targeting Ukrainian military units. These explosions were part of a series of strikes on Ukrainian military positions, the statement reads, although no specifics about the type of ordnance used or the extent of the damage are provided. The areas surrounding Kupyansk have been the site of frequent military exchanges between Russian and Ukrainian forces since the conflict began. Kupyansk itself holds strategic importance due to its location in the Kharkiv region, a key battleground in the broader war between Ukraine and Russia. Both sides have been fighting for control of the area, with Russia aiming to solidify its hold over the region, while Ukraine attempts to repel the Russian advance. The Ministry of Defence's statement highlights the broader context of the operation. The strikes were aimed at disrupting Ukrainian military operations in the region and to degrade their ability to hold key territories, the statement continues. This suggests that Russia's military strategy in the region is focused not only on capturing territory, but also on weakening Ukraine's defensive capabilities. The statement further asserts that the military action is part of Russia's ongoing efforts to gain control over strategic positions in the east, including vital supply routes and communication hubs. The release of these images comes at a time of heightened military tension in eastern Ukraine. Both Russia and Ukraine have made competing claims about the situation on the ground, with each side asserting that the other is responsible for escalating violence and civilian casualties. In this context, the Russian Ministry of Defence's release serves as a propaganda tool, showcasing the success of Russian operations while framing the Ukrainian forces as the aggressors. As the footage continues, the camera shifts to reveal further explosions, with the aerial view showing large plumes of smoke rising from the ground. The explosions appear to be distant, but still in close proximity to the key areas of military interest. This repeated emphasis on explosions underscores the destructive nature of the ongoing conflict and signals that the Russian military is continuing to apply pressure on Ukrainian forces in the region. Despite the Russian Ministry of Defence's claims, independent verification of these images has not been provided. The footage has been released by the Russian state media and comes with no external confirmation of its authenticity or the context in which the images were taken. There are also no reports from Ukrainian sources or third-party organizations to corroborate the claims made by the Russian military. As such, the images should be treated with caution, as they form part of the broader information warfare between the two sides. While the images themselves may provide limited insight into the specifics of the ongoing operations, the release highlights a critical aspect of modern warfare: the use of drones for surveillance and propaganda. Drones have become an increasingly important tool for both sides in the Ukraine conflict, providing real-time intelligence and allowing military forces to conduct targeted strikes with precision. The use of drone footage to document and publicize military actions has become a common feature of the war, with both Russia and Ukraine utilizing this technology to support their respective narratives. The release of these images also draws attention to the broader military strategy at play in eastern Ukraine. Russia's operations in the Kharkiv region are part of a larger campaign to secure territorial gains and disrupt Ukrainian defensive positions. The targeting of specific towns such as Petropavlivka, Yampil, Novoselivka and Stavki suggests that Russia is attempting to dismantle Ukraine's defensive perimeter and create a more favorable environment for further advances into the region. Ukraine, for its part, continues to push back against Russia's territorial claims, insisting that it will not cede any territory to Moscow. The Ukrainian government has repeatedly vowed to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity, despite the mounting challenges posed by Russia's military operations. "We will continue to fight for every inch of Ukrainian land," said Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in a recent statement, reaffirming his commitment to protecting Ukraine's borders. In the aftermath of the release of these images, the international community has remained focused on the evolving situation in Kupyansk and the broader Kharkiv region. Western nations, including the United States and European Union, have expressed concern over Russia's military activities, calling for continued support for Ukraine's defense efforts. "We stand with Ukraine in its fight for sovereignty and territorial integrity," said US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in a statement issued shortly after the images were made public. Meanwhile, Russia's narrative remains centered on its claims of success in the region. The Russian Ministry of Defense's statement further asserts that the ongoing operations are essential for achieving the country's military objectives in eastern Ukraine. The operations will continue until Ukrainian forces are fully neutralized, the statement declares, signaling that Moscow's military campaign is far from over. As military operations in the Kharkiv region continue to intensify, the situation in Kupyansk remains fluid. Both sides are locked in a high-stakes battle for control, with no clear indication of when or how the conflict will end. The international community watches closely, with diplomatic efforts continuing behind the scenes to broker a ceasefire and bring an end to the fighting. However, as of now, the military dynamics on the ground suggest that the conflict will persist for the foreseeable future. This is a developing story. Further updates will follow as more information becomes available.